I'm going to invite you to take a look at Exodus chapter 19, and this is the chapter that identifies that once God led the Israelites away from the captivity of Egypt, they literally started wandering in the desert. And I am sure it was chaotic. I'm sure Moses and Aaron and the other leaders were just scared to death of all the chaos that might happen in their lives. You and I have that happen in our lives too. We get worried about the chaos of life and the world and in our situations. God did something about that. He told Moses to leave them for a little while, to go up on top of this mountain, Mount Sinai. They actually think they know which mountain it was. Who knows if it's the right one, but God sent Moses up there and gave to him the Ten Commandments. And these Ten Commandments were given to him and are given to us as a directive of, now I want you to hear this, not how to be held down or trapped by laws. They literally were given to the Israelites to free them as they were free, to live to become the people God absolutely created them to be. And so I want to encourage you to take a look at how Moses, when he comes down from this mountain with the tablets in his hand, the amazing laws that come to us and how powerful those are. I want you to hear about these laws. And so I'm going to just share with you the first 4 laws from the Ten Commandments. Can you name them? You think you got them in your heads? The first 4 have to do with our relationship with God. The last 6 have to do with our relationship with each other. So before I name them, you think you can name them? The studies show that most Americans want to live by the Ten Commandments, but can only name 3 of them at any given time. And, that's kind of amazing. But here they are. Let's look at the first 4. And God spoke all of these words, and he said, I am the Lord your God who brought you up out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven or on earth, beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations. 1,000 generations. That probably does include us, doesn't it? Of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. And remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. So when I was starting to think about what I wanted to share with you about the Ten Commandments and having us focus on that, I really would love to be able to, at any given time, after another month or so goes by, to stop any of you and to ask you, rattle off for me as many Ten Commandments as you can give me. And for you to give me 6 or 8 of them. And I'd be able to look at that study in the face and say, not our church, man. Our church knows them. We love them. We recognize how awesome they are and how important they are in our lives. I think about the Statue of Liberty. What's the name? Statue of Liberty. In one hand, at Ellis Island, with one hand she holds the torch that recognizes kind of what's the symbol of what? Freedom, the symbol of freedom throughout the world, that America is a place where freedom can be found from tyranny and from leaders of countries that want to put their thumb or their heel on their people. That doesn't happen in this country, and it's recognized through the symbolism of that torch. But look what happens in the other hand. Lady Liberty, the lady that is a symbol of individuals' freedoms, has in her other hand a tablet. And it symbolizes the sense that we're a country of laws. We're a country of laws. On one hand, she has freedom. On the other hand, she has a tablet of laws. And at the very beginning of that conversation, that sounds like something of a conflict. It sounds like laws kind of hold you down. Laws kind of keep you and restrain you. And how can you have freedom on one hand and and laws on the other hand. But folks, it's exactly right that the laws are given to us in this nation to help us be a people who can become the best that we can be. They literally are laws to help us become free. And I want to argue that the Ten Commandments are identical. The Ten Commandments are the very same thing. And our forefathers, as this country was designed and organized and planned out and mapped out, knew that and used the Ten Commandments as the beginning basis for what this country was to look like and what the law of the land was to be like and what freedom would come from identifying and recognizing the laws of God. An analogy? Let's do a goofy analogy. Let's say that the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, what sport is that they play? Yeah, you sort of know it. They don't win too often, but they did this year. And guess what? They're going to the final game. They're going to the championship game. And you and I are so in love with the Cleveland Browns, and we're following them. And we as an entire church get to go to the game, and we get to see our Cleveland Browns take on some low-level team like maybe the Steelers. And we go, you and I, we all fly. All of us as a church, we all go. We got our tickets. We go to the game. We're ready for this amazing game, and our Browns are going to come back with the championship trophy. We're going to be the world champs. This year it happens, and we're in the stands. The game starts. The Cleveland team comes out. And some of them are wearing helmets, and some of them aren't wearing helmets. Some of them are throwing the football around. Other ones have a soccer ball, and they're kicking it with their feet. The other team comes out, and some of them have tennis rackets in their hands. And some of them have baseballs, and another guy has a bat and he's swinging it. And they try to play this game, and it just doesn't seem to fit. Why is that? Because they're not going by the rules of how the game is designed to be played, so that there's healthy, I don't know, I want a weird analogy, but so that there's a healthy competition in living out in that field. And the same thing is true, I think, with our nation. The same thing is true with what God is trying to design with Israel. Why the Ten Commandments? Folks, they're not to hold you down. They're not to keep you from having fun. They're not to keep you from having an experience the joy of life. They're actually the opposite. They're actually to keep you able to be free to become the person that God wants you to be. And so the Ten Commandments are something that really shows to us God's love. In a sense, they are His statute of liberty, His tablet of laws for us. A land of love that this country is. God gives to us His Ten Commandments of love. Okay, I've said enough about that. The analogy is sort of there. Let me give you this passage from Bruce Shelley. In The Gospel and the American Dream, historian Bruce Shelley writes, in one hand, Lady Liberty holds the torch of freedom, and in the other hand, the tablet of law. The torch challenges the forces of darkness and tyranny. The tablet of law